This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane.
Welcome to this special interview here on Krypton Report. Returning guests of like 5 years ago, I have Morgan Siebert, one of the owners of the Superman Museum. Welcome. And did I say the last name correct?
It's Siebert.
Damn it. All right. I'll never screw it up again, I promise.
You want to start over?
Nah, I just made myself look goofy. Everyone knows that once I hear a name correctly, I'll never mess up again. And my wife's name is unique and my daughter's is, so I prefer to get people's names correctly. And I never understand when someone tells you what their name is, people who can't like say it back to them correctly. So it bothers me.
I thought Hambrick would be self-explanatory with my maiden name, and people always got that messed up somehow.
It makes no sense. But welcome back. I wanted to chat with you just a little bit because you are one of the co-owners, you and your husband, of the Superman Museum, and we are gearing up for Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. This is the first year I get to go. I've booked my place. The whole family's coming, so I'm super excited.
Very exciting.
And I know that over the past few years, you've made a lot of improvements. Like I visited the museum in 2016. My wife took me for my birthday. And I've seen online how you guys have grown and excuse me. So tell us a little bit about what's new at the museum. Just what's happened, what's going on, what's some of the improvements?
A lot of updates in the past several years. I guess for the past 4 years, we've really been working on the inside a lot. We gutted and redid the gift shop. Me and Adam lead that work, and we do all that physical labor ourselves. I laid every board of flooring throughout the gift shop and the museum. We redid all the electrical, a bunch of new display cases. So anytime people are buying those bricks in our brick program, it's helping us grow and make improvements. And then on the outside, we did the Action Comics mural, and working on those murals around town, making more photo ops and just making things more super, I guess.
I love it. We did contribute. We bought our brick years ago when you guys first launched that program.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, anything to help, like here in Ohio, for example, I buy every year. I pay and renew my license plates, but I buy the Superman plates. And that money goes to the Siegel and Schuster Society to help fund the. I
didn't realize the license plates went to the Siegel Schuster Society.
Yeah, I learned that.
We do license plates in Metropolis too, and you put them on your car. I think for the month of June for the Superman celebration, and that money goes to our local Rotary Club.
That's awesome.
And then they're the ones that host the car show during the Superman celebration too. So they give back a lot in the community. They give all the school kids dictionaries, and then they always host like a kid from abroad studying from abroad, and they do a lot in the community. They do the community garden and different things. I've been trying to educate myself on all our small town organizations.
I love a good community garden. I think they can be very beneficial.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think more places should look to do that for their communities.
Yeah, because they do that, and then they grow food, and then they donate a lot of that food to the local food pantries.
And that's what it should be all about, and
Metropolis has a very strong community. Lots of little organizations all working to help people out.
I love it. And you see that, like, like I was telling before we start recording, I live in a tiny, almost blink and you miss it kind of place, and you would think that more people know each other, but they
Yeah.
don't really. The most we see each other is Halloween and the
Yeah.
community yard sale, because everybody gets out and walks around. But other than that, like, there's nothing here to like draw people out. No really community.
We got the Superman celebration, the encampment, and then we do a really big Halloween bash at Fort Massac State Park. And we have a lot of community events. I see a lot of people I know all the time.
That's nice. Now I know you guys it's probably insane to be in the museum during Superman celebration.
Some years are really, really crazy. The year we had Tom Welling, it was just so jam-packed. That was our best year we ever had. And then Michael Rosenbaum came through the museum, and he did a guided tour with us, and he was just so friendly and down to earth, and he talked to us like we would talk to just any of our friends. And he was really goofy, and he was teasing our daughter behind the counter, and we just had a really great time with him. And Dean Cain's been through, and some of the celebrity guests, they take the time and go through the museum. It's been a lot of fun throughout the years.
I know that Dean Cain is returning this year for Superman celebration.
I'm hyped up about that. He's a really sweet person.
I got to meet him back in 2018, and he was the first Superman actor I got to meet, and it was really a positive experience. So I look forward to getting to meet him again.
Yeah, he's the best. Actually, he's always willing to help. Like he does autograph signings for friends I know, and gives back to charity. And I think he's very into supporting military and firefighters and things like that. Lou Ferrigno's really cool like that, and so is what's his name? Sam that we had last year. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's the end of the day here. Well, anyway.
Yeah. You're like, what? That guy.
Friendly celebrities. Sorry.
Oh, you don't have to say sorry. It's all good. At the museum, there's a lot of cool things. Here's a hard question. Do you have a favorite artifact in the museum?
In the museum?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I really like that we have like Marlon Brando's wig. That's always been like one that I always thought was really cool. And then there's just toys in there that were in my childhood home that I wasn't allowed to play with, but if my dad was on a work trip or something, I knew I could sneak in there and play with his Migos. So
That's awesome.
I played with the Migos with my Barbies all the time, and just kind of sat in my dad's little Superman room and sat in his office chair and spin around and look at all of his stuff. I like the telephones too, in particular, because my dad did a lot of photo shoots with the phones, and so those just bring back a lot of happy memories.
Awesome. That's nice to know.
It's kind of like Richie Rich, like they go in the vault and all of it's the riches are their special memory pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that the most valuable things are my favorite things. It's the ones that are connected to happy memories.
Oh, I mean, that's really what it's all about. I mean, it's like my kids, just trying to explain that to them. It's like, sometimes it's the little things. I got like last year for Father's Day, my daughter made me a cardboard. She cut it out. She colored it. It's a cardboard like version of me as Superman, like to have as a statue.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's my favorite Father's Day gift I've ever gotten. And I put it somewhere safe because it was falling apart. But I'm like, to me, it just made it, because she was so excited and she spent so much time working on it. That's the most valuable thing. Like,
my dad was he was really sentimental about items. And I made a jewelry box out of aluminum foil that I just like rolled up, and I painted a Superman shield on that. And I found it. He still has that. And then my sister did like a paper mache Bizarro, and he held on to anything. My dad has 4 daughters. He held on to anything we made him, and it's just cute to since he passed, I've been kinda going through some stuff and just finding things from my sisters and cards to my dad and stuff, and just, the places he hid them, was,
Mhm.
like, places he would frequently hang out by himself, so I just knew that that was something sentimental to him that he would keep in a bedroom drawer or something like that.
Yeah, and I know I messaged you when it happened, but we hadn't spoken, but, like, condolences for the loss of your father. I'm sorry.
Thank
Mm.
you.
It's
He's
it's
a very
it's tough.
special man, very super guy, a lot of fun.
It
He
seemed
had
like
different interests. Superman wasn't it. He was into everything. And yeah, it was just really fun to watch movies with and goof off with, and uh, fun to talk to customers with and joke around with. He was just a really fascinating guy. Still the most interesting person I've ever met.
that's nice to say. Yeah, it seemed like last year was a really hard year for people. A lot of loss.
Yeah, since COVID, I feel like a lot of friends have lost loved ones, and yeah, this year, or yeah, last year in particular, yeah, it seemed like a lot of celebrities that you have a lot of childhood memories connected to were passing away all in the same year. Yep.
It's true.
For my dad, one of the things I'm gonna do during the Superman celebration is, I got it approved through the city to do a historic marker,
Mhm.
and so we're allowed to place that in front of the museum, and I just got it in the other day, and we're gonna do an unveiling, but it came out really beautiful. It's blue, it's poured bronze, and it has a portrait of my dad, and
Oh,
that nice way to honor him, and I think it's a lot better than a tombstone.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, because everyone that comes here is gonna see that and know, the story behind the museum.
which is a great story. And
Yeah.
just, his legacy lives on more. I think, just the ultimate, I mean, this is just it's a beautiful tribute, like, just him collecting and then turning it into this museum, and it truly is something to
His
behold.
goal was that, it's like little kids, whenever you find out somebody you in your class likes the same thing as you, and you just get all excited and get to talk about that, and Superman's one of those things that, in the '50s, little boys would ride their bikes to somebody's house, and all the bikes would be in the front yard, and they'd all pile in and watch, the adventures of Superman, and, my dad grew up like that, and, then growing up, him connecting to the other collectors and fans, it's when they would get together, when we moved here is when I really noticed it. It was like hanging out with a group of 10-year-old boys, and they would all banter together and talk about, who had a, better collection, or "I got this item and you don't have this item," and they kinda, like, tease each other, and, um, we I would stay up with all of them until 3 or 4 in the morning, and they'd be going through photo albums and toys and just, talking about memories and things tied to these collectibles, and it's something that I just found really endearing, and, it's why I fell in love with being a part of this and doing this was, like, hearing other people's stories and why the character is special to them.
It's kind of like you're talking about, like, the connection and everything. It's kinda like when I started the podcast and then connecting with other Superman fans, but other Superman podcasters, and just kinda geeking over, our connection, because it's the way we meet the big fans compared to sometimes just meeting casual fans, like, that you meet, like, in person. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it's like, well, running the gift shop, it's like I have, a lot of tourists that come through and, Superman is a well-known character, so they're just here to get their picture and, maybe pick up a souvenir. And then sometimes people will come in and they really know the lore, and then you have a lot of fun talking to those people because you're like, "Oh, okay, you're a big fan, okay." And then the conversation gets a little bit deeper and you have more fun with it, like trivia with the
Mm,
people that really know.
that's awesome. Now, I know that this Superman Day, I got to see some of your posts. You got to take a special trip this Superman Day. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. So I saw that Warner Brothers was doing a special Superman Day, and I really love doing the studio tours. And I saw that they were displaying some new items, and I had hopes. Oh, they didn't announce it or anything, but I was like, I want to. I bet they're gonna have the new costume on display. I bet somebody's gonna be there, special. And I was like, man, if there's an opportunity to meet Jim Lee, then I wanna take this trip. I think it's worthwhile. So, yeah, I booked the trip. My mom only lives 30 minutes from Burbank, so I also got to visit family. But, yeah, I was there and I ran into, John Bogdanoff, and then, he recognized me and we had a nice talk, and I really love, him and his wife, Judy. They're really sweet people. And then, went on the studio tour with, Stephen Kirk. He's kind of like, I would say he's like the godfather of the Super Friends group, like one of the
Mm,
founding Super Friends of the Super Friends group, and I hadn't seen him in many years, and he knew my dad for a long time, so it was nice to go on the Warner Brothers lot with him. And, we're pointing out buildings, this is the Planet Building from Lois and Clark, and the whole studio tour was like Superman and superhero themed, all the DC heroes. But there's also spots they shot, Spider-Man and different things. Um, but then you didn't know what was gonna be on display, so, when we got to the theater, they had the marquee, it said Superman Day on it, so we got some nice pictures there. And then they had, like, Superman-themed food and drinks and stuff. So I go to get in line for that, and then I go, "Oh my god, that's James Gunn." I can tell by his hair from across
mhm,
the room, he's got white spiky hair. So I went to go get in line, I was like, "Oh, there's Jim Lee. Oh my god, exactly who I wanna meet." So I got in line to meet Jim Lee, and then, got to meet him. He was very nice, super down to earth. When he shares his story about, moving to the States and, how that was, the changes, it's similar to when we moved from Southern California to Metropolis to me, because
mhm,
when you're from California and you move to a small town in the Midwest, you stand out because you're from, a big city, and, people wanna know about the big city and things like that. So listening to him talk during the Q&A and all that, he's just a very relatable person, and, he's a very talented artist, and it's really cool to see that, his career took him from, being a kid that, drew comic characters to, heading, you know, at DC.
mhm.
It's like the dream, you love to hear a story like that. But in the lobby of the theater, they had, Christopher Reeve's costume on display, which we have one in the museum, and I've seen a lot in my, life, so, I mean, I'm very impressed still. But, what I was really impressed with was seeing Margot Kidder's costume from the helicopter scene.
Oh,
Um because you don't see that, Everyone
mm,
wants to see a Superman costume, but they don't realize that, yeah, Lois also had a lot of costumes too, and, Jimmy Olsen's costume was there, and then, Gene Hackman, of course, he just passed away, a couple months ago, and his costume was there. And, so it just making a lot of connections to costume pieces that they pulled out specially for this, one-day event. And, yeah, I sat in the, Q&A before the, screening of Superman the movie, and, I sat next to a guy, and he runs, the one of the official podcasts for DC, and so we sat and had a nice conversation. It was a really cool day, and, everything about it, they had special stuff in the Warner Brothers Studios store, And when you run a gift shop and you see they made special displays for things, I kind of geek out on that stuff too. I'm always trying to come up with, well, how do I build a display and make it affordable, but also make it look fun and professional? And you just get kind of inspired by, what they're doing at their official store.
That's
'Cause,
awesome.
our store's, it's a fan store and all designed and put together by, my dad and my family. So
Yeah, it's great looking. So meeting Jim Lee, awesome. Seeing James Gunn, pretty awesome. Did you get to see the new Superman suit?
oh yeah, I got to see the new suit in person. They also had like 3 other costume pieces, and they had a Superman #1 on display. And then in the Warner Brothers studio tour, they have like one of each Batman costume,
Oh,
several
nice.
Batmobiles. They have like a light up lasso that for a photo op, like a Wonder Woman lasso, and different displays for different characters. And then they had the new cape from the new Superman movie, and then also they had, Henry Cavill's cape and several different capes from the Man of Steel. And I think I don't know. They had they had like 6 capes on display also.
That's
And they have
awesome.
like little mock-up Daily Planet office and Mr. Freeze costume, Marlon Brando's Jor-El costume in there, and it's really neat what they have. And then they have like Harry Potter zones and all these other things. Like if you take the regular studio tour, you'll get to see a lot of different zones.
That's nice. Yeah, I want to one day hopefully get to go out there and do that. Now, shifting back to your amazing establishment, I do have a question. When I was there, I looked around, but I didn't think of it now. Now I have a newfound obsession right now with the Superman musicals,
Oh, okay.
both the TV version and the stage production, because one, I got to interview David Wilson, who played Superman on the ABC production this year. I
Oh, that's
interviewed.
really cool.
He was a really cool guy. He was very fun to talk to. And also my family, my wife, my mother-in-law, and myself are directing It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman at our local theater this year.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we actually start casting May 18th with our show opening the week after the new film. So
Oh, wow.
so
Well, new film, you have something to write off of that maybe people wanna go see it because they like the new Superman movie.
that was part of my pitch.
Yeah.
Was just kind of cultural synergy of trying to do something different, and it's also a musical that not a lot of people do. So, do you have anything in the museum from the musical, either the ABC special or the TV version?
I think my dad has some prints, and then Bob Holliday was here several years ago, so they actually shot a DVD. It was called Holiday in Metropolis, and it was kind of his point of view of visiting Metropolis and coming to the Superman celebration. It was a fun little DVD they did. And then yeah, I got songs from the musical on the soundtrack we play here at the museum, so those are always stuck in my head.
Yeah, I understand that because I am currently listen to all of them as we prep for our
Yeah.
show. So they are constantly dun 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 dun. My son will just walk around and just walk in like every man has a job to do, and like he'll just sing that line and then like skedaddle out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thanks, Solomon. So
Well, that's so fun. So, is your family gonna be making the set pieces and
yeah. So my
Yeah.
mother-in-law and I are the directors, and my wife is the music director. And this all comes out of last year. My sister-in-law, who was very active in our community theater, as we all were, but we had just kind of taken time. She passed away in a tragic car accident. So all of us kind of wanted to get back into theater. And years ago, I had wanted to do this, but just the kids came and it was just like, you kind of lost like being able to do it. Well, now the kids are older. They're active in theater. And my mother-in-law's like, let's just do it together as a family. And so
my middle daughter's really into theater, and she just did Elf the musical last year.
Oh,
And yeah, it'd be really cool if they could do Superman locally. That would be fun. Yeah, she's into all that stuff, and she's in the choir and stuff now. And when I was growing up, we didn't have a theater program in Metropolis, and now they've been working on doing that. And they got the 8th graders, the 7th and 8th grade doing theater, and they performed at all the local schools. And I was like really blown away because the girl they chose to do Buddy the Elf,
mhm.
she remembered every single line, and not just hers. I was watching her, and she'd be mouthing everyone else's lines too. And I'm like, this kid is really impressive. She's gonna go far, because being able to remember all of that dialogue is crazy for like an half production for a 7th
Yeah.
grade.
My kids just did a version of crap. See, game talk. Alice in Wonderland. And
Okay.
my son was the right rabbit. It was called Alice at Wonderland because it was like a modernized version and everything.
Okay.
And they were in the back seat, and my son was running lines trying to remember all of his court stuff. And my daughter had just memorized all the other characters' lines out of boredom. So she just sat back there with him in the back seat, doing all the other characters to do the full scene with him.
Wow.
And I'm just because my son's really big. We like I said, we all are, but like, his aunt was a big influence on him. So he's really wanted to do more. So it's become a
I've
big
been,
family thing.
trying to get my kids to go to stage shows, and one we did recently, we went to Beetlejuice on Broadway.
I want to see that. And
Oh, it's fabulous. The sets and everything, and the lighting, and just really they did all their training for that to take it on the road. They did all that in Paducah, across the river here, 15 minutes away at the Carson Center. So we got to see, the first shows that they did on the road. Yeah.
that's cool.
That's fun.
Back to the Future and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child are both coming near where we live, and I want to
St.
take
Louis
the kids.
I just was looking at like Ticket Hub or StubHub or something, and they're supposed to be getting the Harry Potter one.
So I read that one years ago. I bought the script and read it, and so I want to take the kids, to it because it just, I don't know, it inspires them, and that's why I'm really excited that they'll get to help me with the directing and to be a part of, like, as we build the sets and do all the work and everything this year for this. So it is kind of like my summer of Superman.
Because you can be a normal person, and then it's like you even in a small town theater, like, it just elevates a kid so much that their ego to do something like that they're capable of doing something like that. And then people in the community are like, pat them on the back, for being able to accomplish that. And like, I really geek out on like set production type stuff. That's what I've always loved. So whenever I'm watching theater, I'm always looking at the sets. How do they do that? And wheel it in and wheel it out so quick, and how they unfold, and that's all fascinating.
It is like we went and saw a local production of The Wizard of Oz. A friend of ours was the stage manager, and she's going to be our stage manager. And it's exciting, because like I said, this year we got the new film coming out. I'm directing this, and then we're coming to Superman Celebration. So it's kind of a big deal.
A summer of Superman then.
Exactly. Now, how are you feeling? I will. Well, I can't talk today. It's a long day at work. I will bet that you're feeling positive about the new film, but how are you feeling? about the new
with
film.
with the new film.
Mhm.
Everything I see, I get more excited about, like seeing Superman interact with Crypto is just really cute, and I'm like looking forward to seeing that live action version. And then what's wild, and it'll come up in my Facebook memories in July, is that whenever David was on that Hollywood show, I took
Yeah.
screenshots of him and I was like, this guy should play Superman. So, like, that was several years before they chose him, but I'm like, I picked out Superman. Like, that's so wild.
That
I,
is
I,
wild. I
I
mean,
just saw his bone structure, and I just thought, and his hair they did for that series, and I was like, man, this guy looks like Superman.
I
You know,
guess I guess
think
there's
so
a
much.
show on Netflix he did,
Yeah, and
called, like,
he's in
The
World.
Politician, and
Oh,
one of the
really?
characters look at him and goes, you look like Superman," or something like that. I've never watched it. I thought about it, but I was like, "Wow, that's talking about,"
Yeah, that Hollywood show.
I did watch that. It
It's
was
kind of edgy. Uh, I don't know if I'd suggest it to the average Superman fan.
Nope.
And
I
then
wa
he's in that movie Pearl as well.
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw him in,
Yeah,
and he's not in it for very long, spoilers.
yeah,
He is in a movie that I wanted to watch, on Hulu called, Greatest Hits, but I couldn't do it, just because of the recent events and everything with, um, the loss of my sister-in-law and everything.
yeah.
It was kinda difficult to get through, so I started it, but my wife and I did, like, I was like, "Okay, let's just watch, the pilot of this Hollywood just to see how he, acts and everything," and, um, just the
Look,
opening part with him, I was like, "Yeah, I think he can pull this off." Just like I
watching
watched
the
Miss
Marvelous Miss
Maisel.
Maisel, oh
Yep.
my god, like, that is Lois. She is Lois. That's the perfect casting.
Yeah, that's what my wife said when I was like, she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm watching The Marvelous Miss Maisel because this actress just got cast as Lois, and I wanna see," and my wife came in at the end of the first episode, which, if you know what I'm talking about, is, like, the most, like, okay, and the
Yeah,
only time that that happens in the whole series,
yeah.
it just throws it off. My wife's like, "Sure you are, Tyler." She's just picking at me because that's what she likes to do.
I love the scene where she's, trying to be perfect for her husband, and she puts on the eyelashes and washes her face and does all that and pulls the blinds, and that I'm just like, she's just so adorable. I think she's perfect casting for Lois. And just by the stills I've seen, like the one that was released yesterday, I
Mhm.
just she's perfect cast for Lois.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we ended up watching the whole Miss Maisel. Like, my wife and I, she got hooked on it,
I got
um,
hooked on
and
it too.
we watched the whole series, and the whole time, my wife, like, we just couldn't be like, "Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, she's gonna be great."
Yeah.
Um, Now I have a prediction about this movie, and I tell people, like, I don't wanna tell them because they might think it's a spoiler, but I'm just predicting something, and I would like to share it with you if you wanna hear it.
Sure.
So I think at some point towards the end of the movie, they form the Justice League, okay? And the reason why I think that they're gonna have some sort of, like, the Justice League at the Hall of Justice, because they came here to Ohio to film. There's
Uh-huh.
3 days in Cleveland, 1 day in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Now, if you know anything about Cincinnati, is the Cincinnati train station, the outside, was the inspiration for the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, I saw that they were filming there, and, yeah, I figured I mean, they're either gonna form it or it's gonna be something that they're already a part of, or didn't they say a couple days ago that they were gonna name it something
They
different?
were called, like, the Justice Gang or something,
Justice Gang,
and
yeah.
that's what the characters are with their Lord Industries, uh, uniforms and everything. But my
I've been
prediction
really
is
just seeking out, like, the, like, Cleveland tourism page. I
mhm.
follow them, and all of the street stuff they did for the new movie is just blowing me away. Like, just names on, like, subway signs and all of that, like, detail-oriented work they've been doing. I'm like, "I wanna watch this movie in, like, slow down freeze frame anytime they get fight sequences, and then, yeah, for years I've been like, whenever people ask me about sports, I'm not really into sports locally, but they'll talk about, like, our local softball teams and baseball teams. We're the Patriots, and I'm like, "Why aren't we the Metropolis Meteors? Why aren't we?" You know?
Mhm,
And now
mhm.
it's gonna be in this new movie, the Metropolis Meteors, and I'm like, "Well, maybe this will be a way to pitch to rename the teams, because how many schools in the country are the Patriots, and we
Right.
can be the only ones that are the Meteors."
Something unique, bringing back that originality.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone who's planning to come to Metropolis this year for Celebration, what's some advice you can give them, and anything that you kinda wanna plug, about the anything that you'll be having at the museum or something for people to check out?
Well, we're gonna have Red Brown down at Hidden Gems. We don't do our celebrity guests down at the Super Museum because it stays pretty jam-packed all day with just people visiting the museum and the gift shop. It's kind of a tight space. But half a block down, we have Hidden Gems. And so we're doing Red Brown. He played Captain America in 1979. And then we're also gonna have Jerry the King Lawler down there. Um, then we're gonna have, the Tennessee Turtles. It's a group of Ninja Turtles that are coming from, I believe, Nashville area
Oh, cool,
or
cool.
Nashville, Chattanooga area. A couple guys I've known for a while, they've been saying they wanted to come do this for a while. We didn't wanna put people in Ninja Turtle costumes out on the street because it gets very hot here in Metropolis in June. So, we'll have them inside of Hidden Gems, and I'm one of those people that if I see someone overheating in a Batman cowl, I'm offering them a water and I'm sitting them in front of an air conditioner because we don't need Batman fainting on the street. So, one thing of advice I got for people is to stay hydrated and cool off and, take breaks if you need to take breaks. There's lots of places to sit down, on Market Street, and then just take it all in and enjoy it. I don't know. Get to know some of the super friends. They're good guides. A lot of them been coming for years. I've known some of the super friends since I was 9 or 10 years old, so it's been wild to watch kids grow up and get married and have their own kids and the way their families have changed. So the celebration is really like a family friendly con that has a long run of, years of people coming, and they all stay connected, and so I'd say if you've never been to the Superman celebration, I'd go join the Super Friends of Metropolis Facebook group and just start connecting with people like, Stephanie and Stephen Kirk and, some of the people on there that are, skilled. They've been here for a long time, so there's a lot of options. You can camp in Metropolis and come to the celebration, at Fort Massac. There's a lot of hotel options. One of the things I always do is go to the, um we do, like, after parties at night at the Baymont, hotel, and everyone sits around and hangs out and takes pictures, and we catch up there. The prom event should be a lot of fun this year. I don't know all the details, but I think that, Ray Martinez is gonna DJ it. So that'll be fun. Uh, we just announced today that the '89 Batmobile will be here,
Oh,
and
nice.
announcing things as we get contracts signed, so we're not, jumping the gun and announcing things, that we're gonna have to retract on. The celebration's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I look forward to it. Like I said, the kids, looking forward to it. Do you still have that giant doomsday?
Yeah,
And
our
good.
doomsday is, set up in our, what we call it, the doomsday room. And
Solomon wanted me to check again because he saw the picture of that before and got really excited. So he wanted me to make sure it's still there when he comes. So I thought I'd ask you.
well, one of the few things I've done with DC Comics as myself was that I had to sign a waiver because I took a picture of John Bogdanoff in front of that Doomsday statue that they were supposed to use in a documentary. I'm not sure if the documentary was released, but they were doing a Death of Superman documentary, so um, done that, and then my husband's been mentioned in a couple of the new Superman books that have come out recently, and my dad. So that's fun.
That is fun. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. I told you it would be about a half hour. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I just wanted to kind of, talk about the upcoming celebration since I'll get to be there this year. I look forward to getting to meet you and your husband in person.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to be on your podcast, and look forward to seeing you and your family. And then since we're Facebook friends, I look forward to seeing the photos from your production.
Yeah. I will. So I plan on recording it, and just because I'd like to keep it, as something, and I'll send you like a link when we get it up and everything, so you can watch it, and you'll see some photos this weekend for my job. We're doing it's called Kid Palooza. It's an awareness of the needing foster parents in the system, and everything, but it's for all the community, and I'll be dressed up as Superman. For their last year, I dressed up as Batman with a quick thrown together costume. This year, I have a really good Superman costume, so I will be dressed up, walking around and interacting with the kids on Sunday.
That's so fun. I've been on a weight loss journey this year, and actually just 2 days ago, I ordered my first nice Supergirl costume. So I'm like, I want to dress up now that I've lost the weight.
I understand those feelings. I've done something similar, and Kid Palooza was the last thing to really help push it over the edge to go that distance and invest in a higher quality costume. So
yeah, well, I'm excited. I hope my costume fits, because if it does, I'm going to dress up for the celebration. That'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, you take care, and thank you.
You too. Thanks for the opportunity, and we'll talk online. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.